that you're like hurting people, and then she becomes Wonder Woman, and she's awesome. So I'm seeing that in you. So that is something that you need to be careful with, because your words, whoops, they can, like, when you're angry, they're like those things that, and the bullet goes smacking right back at them. So maybe you got to be careful with how you, when people present, put it this way. If I came to you and I was all mad and all that, you would put me in my place better than I could say, but I was justified for being mad. But you could still completely destroy me. That is a nice gift. Must be used correctly. Okay. Ooh, I got a strong presence coming in right now. A man with glasses and a fedora and a mustache and a gun. This is Dan Vance, of course it is. So I don't know who this is, Papa. I have no idea, but he is very close with you, and he's showing. He doesn't smell very well either. It's kind of stinky. He's a relative of yours. He wants you to know that he is. He wants you to know that you're not alone. He wants you to know he's with you all the time. He's really strong in your presence. He lived a life similar to yours, and that is something that you can maybe look into your ancestry for, to find him, because he does exist. He's a very sweet man, very sweet face. Yeah, so Papa, look into that. That I don't know who he is. I just know he's a relative, and he's mouthing the words, but I just can't. I'm not getting what he's saying. I think he really wants you to look him up so you know that he's real, and I'm not feeding this like thing to you. So look up in your ancestry. You have an ancestor with you that's with you and loves you dearly. He understands what you're going through. He's been there, done that when he was on this earth, and he can help you go through what you're going through now. Thank you. I guess I do take a long time with my list, don't I? Okay. I feel like this really bright communication, love, communication, talks way. Rebecca. Yes. You, okay, so like there's a lot, but see, it comes up to here, and it needs to bring forward up here and get that connection stronger, because you can communicate and your words have meaning, and people were like, hey, let's listen to what she's got to say. And you may not, you could talk baloney and they'd be like, oh, that's really interesting. So they want you to move forward with this, but they want you to hit it from your crown chakra into this chakra right here. There's lots of names for it. One of these, Kasha Records and Soul Star Chakra. It's right here, though. It's the one that connects us, to the bear and beyond, and pulls all those chakra colors into us. So connect up there, because use your gift. Don't abuse your gift. I'm seeing a really big bear, and that's so sweet. They're walking along together, you and this person, this sweet bear, very large bear, but very sweet bear. He's very loving towards you, and he has a baby bear with him, which is also like 3 times your size. But this is for Eileen. I'm dyslexic. I don't. Yeah. Eileen. There you go. Eileen. So, hi, sweetie. Okay, so big bear. So, This is the energy you can call on. You would think bear to fight, right? No, that's not this bear. This bear is the love bear. This bear says, call on me when you need the all over energy hug that you can like sit and he will come, because he's so huge. He will just completely, and you'll feel warm everywhere. So when you're in this point where you're kind of not, we won't talk about right now, when you're there, bring Bear in, man, and he'll tell you his name when you get comfortable with him. I see a bear turning and looking. It's kind of funny. Okay, so, but that's not the message. The message is over here. And we're in like a cornfield. And then they're talking ginger. And they're talking... not so much diet, but more... eat right, like for your blood type kind of thing. That doesn't work for everyone, but you're a kind of person that has a chance to work. And I'm not saying you should do that, but Spirit is pushing like that. Like they're just showing me all these foods that they're crossed out, and then there's eat this, eat that, and we won't go into that. Who are we talking to anyway? Melanie? Yeah. So they're saying they're talking about the adrenal glands and things along those lines. Don't worry about what this diet says or that diet says, or do what's right for your body type. And that's something that you need to look into. That's something Spirit is pushing me to tell you to possibly look into. So yes, it would change Vedic. Find out which one you are in the Veda. The Veda.
Vedic system.
The Veda.
Ayurveda.
Medical. Yeah,
Ayurveda.
Ayurveda. Yes, that one. Because that'll help a lot. It will explain. It goes on. You like sweet and the salt. You'll be like, yeah, well, yeah, I do. And then it'll say, well, you're this. And so it is really wonderful. And they're really pushing me for that, because it will improve your world dramatically. Because there's nothing out on the market that you're going to go, oh, this is great. There's nothing that's it's a particular way. Thank you. Okay, so what are we doing? Whew. Now I feel like I'm lifting up off my feet. So I'm up in the air. So here I am. I'm looking down below. So they're showing the Earth, not like the Earth, like, but like a plain Earth, not like a ship Earth. So they're looking. I'm looking down, and this person is going to go somewhere. They're going to go somewhere soon. Oh, they're not going to go by a plane, but they just needed me to explain it's going to be a far away distance, not overseas, but it's going to be a rough way to get there. It's going to take a long time. And this is Mary Jane. Is that on or off in here? Mary Jane? Mary Jane. Okay, so the plane. So you're apparently going to take a trip. It's going to take longer than you expect. So you want to be prepared for that. So like, planes, woof, there. And that's why I knew it was a trip. and I knew it was far away, because who gets on a plane to go to Chicago? Well, some people, but really? Yes, for more time in the airport than you would driving to and from. So my point is, it's far enough that you can take a plane. You're not taking the plane. This particular trip is a good thing that it's taking longer, but you really need to financially understand that it's going to take longer. You need to understand that everything about it is going to be not what you expected and a little above. Totally worth it. It's not a flat tire. It's not a broken down car. It's nothing like that. It's like, yeah, we're doing this. I don't know how we're going to pay for it, but we're doing it. So know that ahead of time. So, yeah, good. Okay, so ooh. I have a kid, but it's in spirit. It's a child in spirit, but it's not someone who was alive and then died that anyone knows. I mean, it's an ancestor kind of thing. This person does not know them. And there's a woman holding the child's hand. This is Mary Dugan. In spirit, there's a woman holding a child's hand that this woman would have, the woman passed in your lifetime. The child passed in her lifetime, but not your lifetime. And this woman is a direct ancestor to you. She's very loving. She's very giving. And she wants you to know that even though she's not with you right now, as far as you can see her or feel her, she is with you in the way you do certain things, the way you move certain ways, the way you hear certain things and perceive certain things. She's with you in so many different eras, as well as she's in and out checking in on you. So when you, like, silly as this may be, hear the door open and close because it's the wind. Well, she's saying that's how she comes in and out, and she tries to let you know in simple ways, like the window rattled just a little bit, but there's no car or truck that passed by, and those sorts of things. There's no big wind, but you hear like wind noises and those. So anyway, she says you know who she is, and that it's none of my business. Thank you for coming. Thank you. So, sorry. Back to Mary Dugan. She loves you very much. She's pushing me. She won't let me get the next message. She wants to make sure you're very loved. You love. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm seeing a tiger, and it's a striped one. It has orange and white, so it's like a calico or something. Okay, so it can be a little cat and then it can be a big cat. And so, like, its presence with this person is sometimes it's the big cat because it needs to walk in front of you and keep you safe while you're walking down the alley. You really shouldn't be walking down. And then other times it's this little kitten so that you may take your own power and to make your power be known. And
Kylie.
Okay, so does that make sense to you? Yes. Okay, so now, okay, there's gonna be times that you shouldn't be where you should be, but that's how it's going down, right? Okay, and you will feel like a pushback. That is turn around. It's turn around. So turn around, like turn around, leave. So when you feel that like you'll feel like that's weird, leave. Just do that. I can't. Your cat really wants you to know that. Like, and listen to it. Listen to your inner self. Listen to it. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It can be a god. Yeah. This one is just a little spirit guy, but yes, it can be a god. So it's nice. which is an Egyptian god. Basset, yeah. Who loves red beer. Okay, who is this? What are we doing? What are we seeing? I'm seeing a little garden with little fairies, and the fairies holding this little butterfly, and it's very happy and it's very sweet. And it's saying, if you don't make the room for it, it can't happen. If you don't create the space for it, you can't have a fairy garden because there's no space for it. Well, you have to make the space for it. They're saying you don't even need a large space, and they're pushing you with this fairy thing. Let me see who you are. Lois? Of course it is. Oh my goodness, that cracks me up. Lois, they want you to make a little fairy garden outside of your house, never inside of your house. Inside of your house can be not so happy. You'll lose your keys all the time. They're funny. So, in a very annoying 2-year-old kind of way. So they want you to somewhere outside, not necessarily on your property, or I know you don't, but somewhere, even in, it can even be in a park, like Chronolot Park. You can like go, you can walk around and you'll feel the energy, and they'll call to you to make a little fairy garden, and that is to be kept to yourself. I mean, you and I can talk about it. We're here, and we're webbed. But it's basically, this is for you and you to have these experiences, because the fairies really want to bring forth some messages to you. And yeah, so make yourself a little fairy garden. They don't come till you make the garden. It's all fine.
It's all good. Okay. You can
I'm
sit down
okay.
for now. And that's DC.
Thank you for letting me stand between the two worlds.
Thank you very much, DC. It was wonderful. Where was I at? I would like to issue an invitation to you all to please join us on Sunday, November 28th at 6 p.m. We celebrate our annual communion. We use a Hawaiian sweetbread to celebrate the sweetness of life on the earthly plane, and a honey mead or sparkling grape juice, if you're not allowed alcohol, to honor the pure light of spirit on the spiritual plane. All are welcome, regardless of lifestyle, orientation, marital status. You are all welcome here. And here is 4025 Wilmington Avenue, St. Louis. These notes are a terrible mess. Now I would like to introduce, or reintroduce, our president, Reverend Karen Heim. She's a longtime member of Circle of Light. She's seen the church grow over the years and helps with its future evolution. Reverend Karen was ordained August 23rd, 2009. She currently serves as our president. In addition to giving messages and channeling her guides, she is a Reiki master teacher. She is trained to do crystal work and singing bowl healing. Reverend Karen's strengths are in her knowledge of Sanskrit mantra and Hindu deities. Reverend Karen often shares this with Circle of Light on select Sunday services, and she will now impart Sanskrit messages for us all.
So for those of you who are not real familiar with mantras are, it's not so much about the words, it's about the sound. It's putting sounds in a particular order. It's all done in Sanskrit, and it's invoking various gods and goddesses or various energetics to help you in various ways. So what I've got here, for those of you who are here in person, everybody gets one particular mantra to start off, because if you're going to do this, the first thing you want to do is get all the obstacles out of your way. So this one is Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. You do a few of those if you choose to do these. That just sort of clears the way and allows the mantras to be more effective. Okay, so I've got Shauna. So Shauna, you've been given a mantra for good luck, and it goes Om Sharavana Bhavaya Namaha. So this is to bring more good luck into your life. We have, like I said, I've got mantras for a variety of different things. And oh, I've got a virtual one here. This is for Mary Dugan. So she's been given one to invoke an antidote to sadness, which is Om Sarva Dukkha Haraya Namaha. You're probably going to have to go through that a few times. Om Sarva Dukkha Haraya Namaha. Lois. Lois, you're being given one for protection, and this is a long one. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaya Viche Namaha. This brings in the protection of the gods and goddesses. Clearly, it's decided that you need to be protected from some negative energetic that is trying to give you trouble. Next one I have is for Cassandra, which is one of our online people. And this is one that's called the Kalash Chakra mantra, and that's to give you a certain amount of control over the concept of time. And that one goes Om Ha Ksa Ma La Va Ra Yam Swaha. Yeah, it's a freight train mantra. Once you get into the swing of it, it goes a lot faster. Okay, Eileen. What do we got for Eileen? Eileen, you're being given one for healing. And that's Om Shri Dhanvantre Namaha. Want to hit all those important bits. So, we got protection, prosperity, healing, good luck, all these things that we all need a little extra help with. Nancy. Nancy, you get the other one that we have is control of time. Yom Haksa Ma La Va Yam Swaha. See, it gets faster the more you do it. That's because I'm used to it, because I've done that mantra. Dan, apparently you need some protection also. So, you get the Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaye Viche Namaha. We all need a little protection in our lives. So, Rebecca, this is a mantra to transform fear. And it goes, Shante Prashante Sarvabhaya Upashamani Swaha. There are times when we are afraid and we need to transform that fear into something more positive. Joyce, you also get one for transforming fear, the Shante Prashante Sarvabhaya Upashamani Swaha. Mary Jane. Invoke antidote to sadness. Om Sarva Dukkha Haraya Namaha. So this is transforming sadness into a higher energetic so that you have no reason to be afraid or worried. Callie. This is one for prosperity. And it goes Om Shrim Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Lakshmi is the goddess of prosperity. She is always providing for those who are in need. Melanie, you get good luck also. Om Sharavana Bhavaya Namaha. And Ava, you get healing. Om Shri Dhanvantre Namaha. And I think that's everybody. So I'm done for this round.
Well, thank you, Reverend Karen. And I'd like to introduce another Reverend, Reverend William. He is our Vice President of Circle of Light. He is one of the founding members of the Circle of Light Independent Spiritualist Church. He has been participating in Circle of Light since 1998. Has it been that long? Yeah. William was a founding member, helped write the Constitution and bylaws, and was pivotal in the group becoming a 501c3 nonprofit church recognized by the state of Missouri. He went on to help create and then complete classes that earned him an ordination by our founding minister, the late Reverend Deborah Bourbon. An experienced clairvoyant and medium, Reverend William has been working with his spirit guides for over 20 years, bringing through personal messages from the inner planes for soul growth and spiritual evolution. Please stand up.
That's some high expectations, man.
You're on.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Reverend William. Be working tonight with Sarah, Mikael, Ellen, Thundercloud, Meridian, Arcturus. Joyce. Joyce, they have you in an archery range and you're walking up to the target and peeling the target off and seeing what's behind it. So what they're saying is that's perfectly appropriate as long as, you know, nobody else is firing arrows. It's perfectly appropriate to see what exactly it is you're aiming at. To look to see what's behind it is actually very good to do. Lois. Okay, you're going into a Build-A-Bear workshop and you're taking the bear apart. So it's kind of like seeing what's behind the target, but this is seeing what's inside the bear. Okay, so you're asking what makes these so special? What's so unique or special about these bears? And really, it's about the person's perception of it. Inside, they're all just stuffing. Okay, that the inside is all the same. Yes, and so we see how you apply that to people. That despite what, or I'm not sure despite the right word, but even though they might look a certain way or have us project a certain personality, you see how inside they're all the same, and that doesn't cheapen them. That actually makes them universally fantastic, you might say. Cassandra T. Cassandra, they're showing you in the bathroom, you've just done something to your hair and you flip it up and the hair goes back and you have some kind of, it kind of reminds me of a commercial where you would have some kind of jingle or catchphrase to say and your hair flips back. And the point is that they are really glad that you are changing your thoughts, like conditioning your thoughts is very good. And the mirror, you're reflecting upon what you think, why you think it, and taking a good look at yourself. That's really good progress. Nancy. You've won some kind of contest, and there's these, you know how like they have the first, second, and third place like in the Olympics, and you stand on this little pedestal, and you're noticing that they're made out of wicker, which is not very strong, and so you're going to make new ones. Okay, what does that mean? Let's see. This shows you value this accomplishment of winning this contest. You're showing that the winners of this contest deserve more than this wicker thing to stand on. It's not very sturdy. I'm going to make it out of wood or something stronger, sturdier. So yes, the way I see this is just that it shows you value that. And it's not just about you and your standing. It is for all three of you that are in first, second, third place. And it shows a what do you call it? Like thoughts of we're all in this together, and it's not just about me winning. Melanie. They're showing you taking off the outside, like the siding or whatever of this house, and seeing the insect damage underneath in the wood. So you're noticing to me, the house represents your mind, and you're noticing how these things left unattended will eat away at the structure of the mind. And so good job. You've gone through at least the first couple of steps of being aware of it and having some knowledge of what to, like how to get rid of these termites or whatever they are, these pests. And so yes, that's the next step, is to eradicate. So how would that be in the mind? That would be, I am replacing the rotten wood with new wood. I'm replacing the rotten thoughts with new thoughts. And it's really that simple. Yes, it really is that simple, that there's no, like, you don't have to like reach in there and pull out the nasty thoughts or unproductive thoughts. You just replace them with new thoughts. Thank you. So I was meditating one time many years ago, and I had been taught a certain way to meditate. It's similar to transcendental meditation, where I was taught to meditate on something or for something in myself, like for patience, compassion, understanding, etc. And I noticed that when I would meditate on one thing, it would bring up two other things or three other things. So now I'm sitting down to meditate. I have this like list of stuff to change about myself, and I'm not very happy about it. So I'm saying my ohms or whatever I did back then to get into my meditation, and this voice, which I now know is my higher self, said, "You know from physics that light and dark can't exist in the same place at the same time. So instead of trying to pull out the darkness, which is impossible, you can't remove darkness. You remove darkness by shining light into it. The same thing with your thoughts. Just fill yourself with light. The old or dark thoughts, the unproductive thoughts will be displaced. They'll be pushed out by the light." Callie, right? Is it Callie? Hey, Callie. We're out in the country. There's some livestock. Okay. So you're on a horse and you're taking stock. You are looking at, you have a lot of property here, and you are kind of doing an inventory of your livestock. Okay, so one thing going on here is you are having thoughts like, I don't know, it's like you're thinking it's weird to own animals. That's how you're thinking of it, like they are living things. It's weird that I own them, you know. But I also can't just let them go because they're cows. They're not going to survive in the wild, you know. So the role you have is, think of yourself instead of an owner as a steward. I am a steward of the earth, of its creatures. I'm a caretaker. Okay. And that will change your perspective on it. Period. I feel like it's just that simple. Okay. Mary Jane. Oh my. I haven't thought about this in decades. You're on that show, The Price is Right. And I don't know if was Mary Jane here? All right. So I don't know if you ever watched that show, but the end, they spin this really big wheel. And it's like in the middle of this game, you realize what a joke it is. You realize it's no different than gambling. It's a matter of chance. And that the whole idea of how we value ourselves is a game. It's like with my perspective now, being on the stage, being in this thing, I'm looking around like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous how we value ourselves according to this stupid wheel spin. And Spirit's going, bravo. Now what? Walk off the stage. Don't participate. It's not your thing. You don't have to engage. So what should I do instead? Well, you decide your value. You don't wait for somebody to put a price tag on you. You decide your value. Eileen. Oh man. So I know they did this in cartoons, but the wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay, so it takes off the sheep costume, it's a wolf. Takes off the wolf costume, it's a sheep. Takes off the sheep costume, it's a wolf. Takes off the wolf costume, it's a sheep. You know, and what they're saying is that every being, every person, how do I say that? I'm going to ask you guys a question to help you see the message here. How often in life are things exactly as they seem? Never, right? I mean, hardly ever, if ever. And that's the thing. That's like a ongoing or current realization for you right now. It seems that call it a sheep, call it a wolf, call it pumpkin bread. I don't care. You know, it's that, and kind of like the Build-A-Bear thing. It doesn't mean they're all the same and therefore are boring or it actually means, in the Bible and other places it says in the eyes of God we're all equal, blah blah blah. Yes, it means we're all awesome. It doesn't mean we're all just costumes. Ava? Ava, they're saying, well, they're using this again. It's like an old adage: you can't force a flower to bloom. You can't like pry the petals apart and go. Ugh. There is something you are trying to grow or blossom, bring into being, and they're saying it's a process. It'll come. Watching it is great. Appreciating the process is great, but you can't force it. So it's gonna maybe take a little patience. And in fact, observations are very good quality for you to bring out in yourself. And in fact, they're saying have an approach like a scientist or detective, where you are observing with purpose to see how it unfolds. Rebecca. I don't know. They're showing me a head of lettuce. And you're saying lettuce head, cabbage arms. You know, it's like these puns. So it seems like there are times in your life when you would just like chop it all up, make a big salad, and say, hell with it, I'm done. You know, is that funny? You know, like I'm done trying to sort these things out. You know, who cares? Lettuce, cabbage, whatever. Just chop it all up, put it in a bowl, let's go. And you know, sometimes that works, but sometimes it doesn't. It does you a great service to before this, when you're at the store picking out the groceries, do it mindfully, have a little bit of a plan. You don't have to plan each meal every day exactly what I'm going to have and write it down and make a spreadsheet. No, you don't have to do that unless you really want to. But what does help you is if you just have a general idea of your goal of what you want to produce, and you know, when you're at the store, even buying the groceries. You see how that applies to life? Right, there you are. Okay. All right. Shauna L. I don't know. Gee whiz, the old commercials. There's a cereal commercial, and they're saying A is for apple, J is for Jack, L is for lion, you can't take it back. I don't know what that means. But they took the L of your last name and made it lion. I don't know. Maybe that should be your mantra. A is for apple, J is for Jack, L is for lion, I can't take it back. I don't know. So taking that to the strength card in tarot, which in most decks is represented by a woman with her hand on a lion, and it symbolizes the calm woman has command over the lion. Okay, this lion that physically could overpower the woman very easily and destroy her. She commands the lion, and the lion represents habitual thinking. So, okay, I got it. So the way this ties in with the cereal jingle is these like old tapes playing in your head, like the old jingles, the old theme songs from TV shows and stuff like that. Ding, 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 just bounce around in your head, okay? And you command your mind through a gentle touch, not through forcing it. You know, it's like, shut up, brain. It doesn't work. It's not good, okay? It's not going to work. That just causes conflict within yourself. Gentle. Be gentle with yourself. Non-judgmental. So if you every time you have a thought like you have a negative thought that guy William is full of crap, that'd be a very negative thought. And you, instead of judging yourself like, why did you say that? You don't even know the guy, blah, blah, blah. You say, gentle. Maybe use that detective skill that, like I was describing earlier, and see where that, if you want, if you think it's going to be productive. It looks like in some cases it would be very helpful to, okay, really just stop myself right here. Where does that thought come from? Why is that habit even in me? And just change it right there on the spot by being gentle with yourself and non-judgmental. Dan Vance. Dan, they're showing this. It's I'm laughing because it's like in so many fantasy science fiction that movies of like the beam of light shoots down into Dan, and what they're telling me is something you're doing is working. You are doing something right to invite that light in and fill you up and change you, and they just want to acknowledge that. Good job. Mary Dugan. I'm in a, what do you call it? Like a greenhouse with all the plants. Okay. The greenhouse can only accommodate so many plants. It has literally walls, has limitations for what it can contain. And we know that you care deeply about these plants, but for some of them, once they're big enough, they're better off outside. And it looks like it's time for you to accept that. It would be really helpful for you to accept that at a certain point, these plants can go outside and be fine on their own. You don't have to care for them forever. It would actually be better for the plant for it to be outside. So trust the process. You've done a great job of bringing the plant up this far, and trust that it will be fine outdoors in its natural setting. So for me, that talks about I changed my pronouns. I'll talk you. For you, Mary, it speaks to the aspects of you and how you can only grow in this greenhouse. You can only grow so tall. Then you reach the limits of the greenhouse. Let yourself step outside and experience a natural setting in which you will thrive. Thank you for allowing me to stand between the rules.
Thank you, Reverend William. I would now like to introduce our other Karen. Karen McFerrin, a longtime member of Circle of Light. She is a Reiki master teacher, shares her gifts through Reiki, guided meditation, and delivering messages. Karen has seen the church grow over the years and looks forward to helping with its future evolution. Now, she is going to do messages via gemstones.
All right. Let's start with the basket here. Let's see. All right. Who's first? Mary Jane. All right. You have got a Moonstone. Moonstones are connected with the sacral chakra. They bring insight, intuition. They are good for cleansing negativity. And also, a lot of people will use them when they're traveling. I know some people will put them in their luggage or will put them somewhere on their person. And since they're not magnetic, they don't set off the metal detectors. All right. Mary. Crazy lace agate. That works well with the third eye chakra, and it helps focus insight. And again, this is another one that is good for when you're planning your journeys. And it is also really good if you're trying to, like focus on your internal rhythms. It's a good stone that actually focuses that energy. All right. Lois, you have petrified wood. Petrified wood is also good for that sacral chakra. And you think about it, it's fossilized wood. It's not going anywhere. It's done. It's stable. It's, a sign of longevity and grounding. So it's really, really good if you're trying to tap into some ancient knowledge or just trying to work on getting some grounding so that you can get rid of that older stuff. So, all right, who's next? All right. Ava, you have citrine. That is good for working with the solar plexus chakra. It brings energy. It's really associated with sun energy. And it is good for career success. I know people who will print off a stack of their resumes and put a citrine on top of it to charge them before they send them out. Or I guess if you're doing electronic resumes, you could put it on top of your computer or something. All right. Cassandra, rose quartz. Now that is one of two colors that is great for the heart chakra. Rose quartz along with clear quartz are also just a good substitution when you just need something to focus, because they attract the positive, they repel the negative, and they're very symbolic of that nurturing love that we all need. Oh no, I grabbed the wrong thing. That's virtual. We're good. All right. Rebecca, what we have for you today is hematite. Hematite is great for grounding. It's associated with that root chakra, that base manifestation. And I know a lot of people who have a lot of air in them, and they literally put hematite in their shoes, or attach it somehow to literally, keep themselves grounded. I used to work with a gentleman who was literally all air and fire, and we would lay hematite bracelets across his feet before we did before we did anything, a Reiki treatment or whatever, because without that, he would just almost literally float. But hematite is good for just that balance. It's also good if you're trying to deal with something legal, because it's grounding. It's stability. So a lot of people will, if they're making up a little packet to get them through something, some legal issues, they'll include hematite just to ground that into this earth plane.
Oh, bouncing stones.
We can figure it out. Bring it in, Charlie. All right. So, all right. So who we got here? Oh, and have another moonstone, and this is for Melanie. And again, moonstone is good for that sacral chakra. It cleanses negativity and is good for safe travels. Melanie?
Melanie.
Okay. Okay, Joyce, for you, we drew Snowflake Obsidian. And that is, again, a root chakra because it's, it's dark stone with, the snowflakes in it. And it's good for helping you clear out the, cleanse those lower chakras. And it's a real good meditation stone because it helps you bring in that serenity for when you're alone. All right. All right. Well, we have Citrine for Nancy. Now, citrine, again, is that solar plexus, that sun energy. It is good for career success, prosperity, abundance, and strength. And that is going to Nancy. All right. All right. And Dan, we've got amethyst for you. And that brings peace, balance, rids negativity, and that is very good with crown chakra. All right. We got here. Yeah. Eileen has the other Snowflake Obsidian. Like I said, this is good for bringing in that serenity and bringing and locking it down into that root chakra, and for balancing that whole mind, body, spirit. So that one is for Eileen. Shauna. Shauna, you have Petrified Wood, and like I said, that's good for the sacral chakra and stability and longevity because, it's wood that is now become stone. It is, literally that living thing that has extended its existence by becoming a mineral. And again, we're talking about ancient wood. So that's another, especially if you're trying to learn maybe some older knowledge, that's really good for a focus. Okay. And last but certainly not least, we have Callie, and Callie gets green adventurine. Now, green is the other color associated with the heart chakra. And that's when you're looking at growth, abundance, and that healing energy. And it's just when the pink colors, they represent the love, but green is that kind of all expansive love, that love that just goes out and fills the world. So there we go. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to stand between the worlds.
Thank you.
Okay.
Second verse, same as the first.
Every year, on or near the solstice, we hold a potluck dinner to celebrate the return of the sun. This year it will be on December 12th, which is quite a bit before the solstice, but that's how the calendars work out sometimes. It's a potluck, and we also sing together, so you have to sing for your supper. Come be a part of our winter tradition. Bring a covered dish with food in it, and all are welcome. It's the 12th, 6th? Doesn't say here.
Yeah, normal,
Yeah, normal service
normal
time.
service time.
Normal service time, 6 o'clock.
And the church provides turkey and a vegan alternative.
Turkey and vegan alternative turkey, whatever that is.
Oh, a protein, just a plant-based protein.
Grass.
And now I'd like to invite Reverend Karen back up for a little more freeform messages.
Oh, okay. All right, Eileen. You know, when you're dealing with a bully, the thing that they don't expect you to do is fight back. And they go, why you gotta be like that? Why you gotta be like that? And there's nothing that can get them to back up sooner and say, oh, I was just joking, I wasn't doing nothing. If you just call them out and say, hey, that's not cool, that's not appropriate, knock it off. So, you know, when you run up against somebody who's being a knucklehead, don't be afraid to call him a knucklehead. Ava, you're being shown petting a snake. And, you know, people's immediate reaction is, ew, isn't that slime? Snakes aren't slimy. Snakes are dry. They're scaly. Come on now. But, you know, the snake is a symbol of your Kundalini energy that comes from the base of your spine and works up towards your third eye. And they're saying, you have control over this snake. You know, you tell it how you want it to move. You tell it how you want it to go. So, you know, kudos to you for having that sort of control. We're all working towards that. Callie. Callie, sometimes, you know, it's easy to want to go back into old habits. You know, when you've kicked a habit, you're like, you know, but still it's there in the back of your mind. It's like, you could come back to me. You know, it's really convenient. You know, and you got to go all Taylor Swift on them and say, we are never, ever, ever getting back together. Okay, that is, you're out of my life. We are done. Cassandra. You know, one of the big philosophical questions that bounces around for people who want to get all deep in that is a color that you call red the same as a color that I call red? And the answer is maybe not. But, you know, everybody has their own perception of the world. So, you know, you see it your way and, you know, I see it my way. We got people who are colorblind and they see red very differently. You know, it's usually sort of washed out. But that's their perception of red. And you have to, you know, say, okay, when somebody is telling me something and I'm taking umbrage at it, am I just seeing it from my perspective, or am I trying to see it from their perspective and see where they're coming from? Because it could be totally different. They could say something that you get really mad about, but that's not how they intended it at all. So just sort of keep that in mind. Rebecca. You know, Rebecca, when you're baking bread, and for us, you know, seeing the imagery of food is information and taking in information. And what's the one thing you don't want to do when you're dealing with bread? Is take it out too soon. So it's just like any idea, you don't want it to be half baked. So, you know, just when you see something and it's perking along and you think it's may not be quite ready yet, just give it a little more time. Let it rise and brown just a little bit more. Dan. Dan, you know, we do little cleansing things all the time, you know, without even thinking about it. You know, it's not like those commercials where they show people splashing water up into their face like that's going to clean your face. All that does is get water up your nose. But, you know, there are ways that we use sort of a spiritual water to cleanse ourselves. And Spirit is saying, you know, just keep on doing that. Do those things, those little things that you can do every day to sort of keep everything clean spiritually on those higher levels. You know, it doesn't take a lot of effort every day, and it just takes anything that's popped up during the 24 hours and tells it, you got to go. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Nick. Nick, we had somebody who was giving a message earlier about shining a light in dark places. And so you've got one of these little tiny pen lights that you're using to sort of see your way. And the Spirit says, dude, that's not going to get the job done. You need one of those big flashlights that gives you the big light so you can really see. Because, you know, it's one thing to see what's just ahead of you, but it's another thing to be able to plan because you see what's coming up in the future. So they're talking about more long-term planning. So, you know, bear in mind, yeah, you got to worry about the here and now, but there are a lot of things you got to prepare now for what you're going to have to deal with when you get there. Mary Dugan. You know, when I was little, my sister's much older than I am, and we were coloring in a coloring book. She had one page and I had the page next to it. And she had everything in all the realistic colors and it was all shaded and fancy. And I had everything in strange colors. All the things were orange and purple, you know, it's like there was no reality involved. Okay, nothing natural was on my page at all. And my sister gave me, you know, a little ration of crap about that, which was kind of a downer for me from an artistic standpoint. But, you know, I was 5. What did I know about artistry? But let's keep in mind, you know, it's one thing to try to get things, see things as they are, but that shouldn't keep you from seeing things as they could be. It's more a case of opening your mind. Yes, you're aware that this is how things are right now, but keep your mind open to the way things could change. And they could be different, and they could be brighter and sunnier, and maybe things are purple, and maybe things are different. Give it a chance. Shauna. Shauna, we see waves breaking and we go, wow, here's the power and the majesty of the ocean. And then we see imagery of that and the energy is kind of sucked out of it. You see the wave and it's caught in a moment in time. So it's power that's been repressed. You're only seeing it in that instant in time, and so you don't get the full picture of what's going on, the full power behind all of that. And you go, if you see it as it's stuck in that one position, you go, well, that doesn't seem all so bad. But if you're seeing the entire picture, you go, holy crap, that is really impressive. So sometimes you're going to see something, and bear in mind, you're only seeing it in this one particular instant. But you have to think about what came before it and what is the likelihood of what's going to happen afterwards, so that you're not surprised when it comes at you with a lot more force than you expected. Lois. Lois, you know, they always had that thing about boys are made of snakes and snails and puppy dog tails, and girls are sugar and spice and everything nice. And I'm like, what if I like the snakes and snails better? You know, that sort of stereotyping, you know, that doesn't work for me. And it certainly didn't work for my sister, because if there was somebody who was more likely to put a frog in a little brother's bed, it was her. So thinking, you know, outside the box as far as how people behave, and not stereotyping them into here's what is appropriate for one particular group of people, and then it's not appropriate for other type of people. Anything is good for anybody, you know. If they want to mess around with it, you know, you let them mess around with it. If they decide it's not for them, see, they learned something. But keeping the options open, especially, you know, when somebody is very young, you don't want to limit them. Like I said, when I was coloring, you know, my sister gave me crap about it, and I'm like, well, let them explore things in their own way. Brooke. Brooke, you know, it used to be that we had to go through all this hassle when we were doing our hair up. Everything had to be in the big curlers, and you had all this mess around, and all this hairspray, and all this, you know, and we're a lot more casual about that kind of stuff now, right? In the same way that, you know, it used to be that we took lives very seriously. Life was serious business. And, you know, as we've moved along in time, it's like, lighten up, you know, it doesn't have to be serious all the time. Just because you're a grown-up doesn't mean you can't have childlike things that you do. You can have things where you're having fun. Everybody thinks that having fun, you know, back then was hard living and hard drinking, and everything was hard. And sometimes you just want some stuff that's easy and fun and light. So don't lose that part of you. Mary Jane. You know, this is the same sort of thing. We can fuss around with something and make it very elaborate, you know, and like something that you'd see in a design magazine or one of those cooking magazines where everything's got the little chocolate dipped strawberries on it and little, you know, chocolate curls on it. I don't know about you. I don't have time for all of that. That's just exhausting to think about. And what are you trying to accomplish anyway? Who are you trying to impress? You know, my goal when I'm cooking is to make something that people like to eat. And it may not be beautiful. If I've got a stew, it isn't necessarily something that, people want to take a picture of and put it on Good Housekeeping. But it's good food. It's having that sense of community. We're all together. And that's the important thing. I don't have to impress anybody but myself, and I don't hold myself to anything, that I think is unreasonable. And, I wish that for you too. Don't hold yourself to anything unreasonable. It's not necessary. Your friends love you for who you are. Joyce. How do I put this that doesn't sound, sometimes you just want to turn up the music loud and bounce your car and just be exuberant in a way that isn't so buttoned down. And they're saying, if you have something to celebrate it, girl, celebrate it all the way. You don't have to hold out. It's like the Discover ad where it's like, go on, let it out. You get your stuff doubled. Whoop, whoop. Let it out. Melanie. Melanie, something that we're always over here thinking about doing is how we can bring that solar energy, that higher energy down and work with it. And they show you taking it down just like you were taking reeds or threads, and you're weaving and you're making this piece of art with it, and it's infused with that higher energy, and it's almost like it glows because it's got your intent in it, and it's got your artistry behind it. And they say, express yourself through art. But if it's something that you see in your head, try to make it come real. And it's because it's got your intent in it, it is charged with that energy. I got married. People sometimes talk about, if I could, I would pluck the stars from the sky for you. That's fine if you've given it to another person. How about you pluck the stars from the sky for yourself? You're just as deserving, Celebrate yourself. Make yourself a moon goddess. You're the queen of the stars, It's fine to indulge, It's part of that self-care and that self-love to express that part of you that you often keep hidden. Because we're talking about night. This is the stuff that you usually keep under wraps. Well, you have the right to show that off. Go on with your bad self. Thank you for allowing me to stand between the world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we have what could be a special treat. The Reverend William will bring us wisdom from beyond through the tarot cards. Yeah, I know, that's such a high bar again.
Laugh it up, fuzzball. Okay. What movie is that from? Thank you. Laugh it up, fuzzball. Okay. Rebecca K. Thanks for being here. Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups for Rebecca. So ace being number one is almost always some kind of new beginning. What we're seeing here with this Ace of Cups is a new and improved way of working with your emotions. So instead of like being a victim of my feelings, I now am commanding, at least better than I was, my emotions. This comes from what do you call it? Well, practice, trial and error. Like it's been work to get here, and but now speaking as you, I now have a much better command of my emotions, instead of being overwhelmed by my feelings, and this, what's the word? This gives me a new perspective, not only on the feeling part of it, like I described, but also now I see the future in the world differently. It's not so overwhelming. So good job. Okay. Mary Jane. 5 of Swords. Okay. So what they're showing here is that it's like you're standing there and there's swords on the ground. It's what there's, to make a long story short, you won the battle. There's dead guys on the ground. There's swords on the ground. Okay. And you have some of the swords in your hand there that you got from the enemies. And you're standing there going, well, I won, but was it worth it? There's all these dead guys on the ground now. And they're saying, yes, those dead guys are parts of you, like obsolete parts of you that were not serving you. Swords represents your thoughts, your mind, and how you use it. So you have done something to like cut out the old way of thinking and make room for new thinking. Nancy. Temperance. Okay, so what they're saying with this, you'll see the angel, most descriptions call it an angel there with these 2 cups. What they're telling me is your spirit guides, your personal guardian angel, they're trying to help you get that formula. Think of that like a math formula, how both sides need to equate or be equal. They're trying to help you get that formula just right, especially in your temperance, in your regulation of your emotions, in temperance. Also think of like a blade, and the more that steel is worked, the hard and tempered, it gets harder with use. So this is making you stronger, emotionally mature, which brings about clear thinking and mental focus. Callie, Queen of Pentacles. Okay, your inner healer is being called out. Your healing. Okay. I got to talk about this. From one perspective, you might say one aspect of this card is like Mother Nature. Okay, as like an archetype, you might say, but also as part of you, it's bringing out your healer. So right, it was Callie, right? Callie. People, right, for better or worse, people find it easy to confide in you. People like sometimes people always tell me their friggin' problems, but on the good side though, you're helping them, so this is something, well, thank you. Right. So A, this is something to be thankful for. B, it also requires your healthy boundaries. You need to know when to say, okay, I can't stay up all night on the phone with you, listen to you cry. I got to cut you off at some time. Okay, that's a healthy boundary for you, and often for them, because there is healthy venting, and then there's just bitching and complaining. Okay, so yes, this is calling forth your inner healer. You know, we call this event Gifts of Spirit. What you might not know is that comes from the Bible. I think it's a book of Luke. I know it's the book of Luke. I can't remember what the chapter is. But in the book of Luke, they describe the gifts of the Spirit. And that's where speaking in tongues is one of them. So being able to communicate like straight from God and things like that. So I encourage you to look at that in the Bible, gifts of Spirit. And you might want to go online and look up different interpretations, or what do you call it, like translations, you know, and see what that means to you. Okay? All right. Melanie. Two of Cups. Oh. Okay. Where's Melanie? Did you get the Kundalini message earlier? Okay, that was something else. All right. Because what you'll see in the center there is a kind of a depiction of Kundalini. All right, but what we're looking at here, the 2 cups for Melanie, is of all the cards in the tarot deck, that's the most that most is that's the go-to card for a relationship card, okay? And that could be true for you, a relationship that is loving, that produces, what's the word, brings forth, evokes healing, okay? Yes, that's true. What we're focusing on, that relationship with another person reflects your relationship with yourself. So focus on that. Focus on things, instead of things thinking like, well, the perfect person for me will be, you know, you have this description. Ask yourself instead, how will I know when I'm in the perfect relationship? What will I be like when I'm in a good, healthy relationship? How will it feel? Things like that will do you great good. Okay? Eileen. The moon. Wolf and the moon. What a coincidence. All right. So, we're okay, here's where we're going. You open up Generic Tarot Book 101, all right? And it's going to talk about the moon part. And my question when I got into tarot was, what's all the other stuff in this picture? There are 2 columns or towers. There is water. It's dark. There's a moon and a full moon. And there, in most decks, there's dogs, or some people say wolves, that are guarding the entrance between the 2 towers. And there is a lobster, you know, not a tropical fish. Why a lobster? Because a lobster eats the yucky stuff on the rocks in the cold water off the coast of Maine. Okay? They eat the crap. So this, I see this as an invitation to you to go in there and clean up the crap in your unconscious mind. You have these wolves or dogs as your escorts going in there, or guides. And the benefit of doing this is the clear view of the moon, i.e. your intuition. So, right, I get it. And yeah, Eileen's saying, well, I've done that. Guess what? Do it again. This time, well, and I mean, we laugh because that's how life is. It's like, I've done that. I thought I did that. You did. Yes, you did. You absolutely did. You might look and say, well, what a waste of time that was. And I got to freaking do it again. No. It was very important that you did that. But now this time, you know what to expect. And you know to like take your holy shop vac with you. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't just go down there with a toothbrush and go down there with your guardian angel shop vac and suck it up. Well, okay, that's funny, but that's the wisdom you have going in there this time. Okay, that's funny. Shauna. Three of Cups. Is that somebody here? Is Shauna here? Shauna. Three of Cups is a reason to celebrate. You have three women there raising their cups, celebrating some kind of occasion. It's probably tonight. You get to see me in person, which is awesome, which I understand. So how much? Okay, no, but really there is celebration for. Okay, thank you. All right. And they're pointing me for you. They're directing me to that specifically women. That it is a celebration, not just with women, but of women. This is I'm looking at your face. Like, how young is she? Okay, you're under 30, right? No? Oh, okay. I was looking at Saturn return. Okay. I was looking at Saturn return is why I said 30. Okay. So 42 is another landmark. Every multiple of 7 is another milestone, you might say. But what they're saying is it's what I say, it's not just a celebration with women, but of women. So they want you to like celebrate that you're a woman. What does this mean for so right. So one of the things this is going to include is learning to be receptive without being taken advantage of. Like I can be, the female is receptive. All symbolism of anything, even the least bit yin yang, male, female, there's a receptive and an active. Okay. So female role is to be receptive, but in the person that you are, they're saying to be receptive without being taken advantage of. I could be receptive, but still stand up for myself, have healthy boundaries. What's a better word? I don't like that word very much. I want to set my expectations. I want to, so there's this aspect of, what was the name? Cassandra? What's your name? Shauna. Whoa, sorry. Whatever, ends of the day. So Shauna is your ability to say, not just you're developing the skill, so you can say, when you're in my space, my kingdom, I have certain expectations. If you can't do that, move along. Ava, strength. This is the one I referred to earlier with the woman's hand on the lion's head. Okay. So, this is the strength of your higher will over your animalistic will, your habit. So it is a gentle touch that commands the lion. It is mindfulness, awareness. You're not going to succeed. You're not going to beat the lion up. Okay. So when it comes to changing your habitual, think of the little habitual reactions that you have throughout the day. To change those, first step is awareness. I'm aware that I'm doing it. Now I'm going to change it, and just be gentle. Just gently guide yourself to a new way. Oh, Lois, the Emperor. Okay. So, well, the Emperor is saying to you, there's an empty throne here waiting for you to sit in it. So assume the throne, assume the position of authority, take command of your life. And you're looking at that throne like, well, man, that sounds like a lot of responsibility. You are right. Bravo. Yes, it's responsibility. You can handle it. Just, I don't know. They're really adamant. Like, just do it. Should I take them off the top? Has this been shuffled? Yeah. Doobie doo. Huh?
Well, then you better shuffle it.
All right. Joyce. 8 of Wands. Eight of Wands. 8 of Wands. It shows these 8 wands all parallel. Okay, so the energy is coming together, moving towards your goal. Your job, just keep focusing on the goal. You don't have to bring the energy together. The energy is already coming together. Just focus on the goal. The energy falls where you focus. It's that simple. Dan, 2 of Swords. 2 of Swords, balanced mind. Okay, the balanced mind. Okay. So holding, like in the card, well, yes, she has her hands like this with 2 really long swords. That's going to be tough, all right? What they're saying is, yes, okay, that's how it is. So instead of going like this, which is going to fatigue your muscles quickly, do like in the card and go like this and bring them to center. So the more centered you are, the more centered your thoughts are, the easier it is to balance, i.e. balanced mind. Cassandra, Ace of Swords. Okay. Like I said, Ace is number 1. So this is a new way of thinking, a new perspective. So good job on you've changed in some way. Thank you. You have a new perspective. Also, each ace correlates with the angel. You have Archangel Raphael helping you with this. And I just feel like it's already something you're doing. It's in process, and then recognizing that. Who else had an ace earlier? What ace was that? Cups? That's Angel Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel. Mary Dugan. 5 of Cups. All right, Mary. Really? They're being quite direct with this and saying, no more sitting around feeling sorry for yourself, basically, is what they're saying. It shows a person with 3 spilled cups in front of him, and he's whining over the spilled cups. And because his attention on the spilled cups, he doesn't see the full 2 ones behind him. So it's like no crying over spilled milk, you know? That's right. So they're saying is release your attachment to what is done, focus on what you have, and do something with it, and it'll be fantastic for you. Brooke. 7 of Wands. Okay, so in the 7 of Wands, they show you defending yourself from an attack. And what they're saying about this is, they're like, is that how you want to spend your energy? You know, that you are free to walk away from that fight and not engage, do what you really want to do. There's nothing to defend, no reason to be defensive. Okay, Nick? 6 of Wands. Oh, 6 of Wands is the victory parade. So whatever you're focused on right now, it's almost certain that you're going to achieve it. Oh yeah, thank you. You know, that you're on that horse. The horse indicates your willpower. You're directing your will, and people will notice your accomplishment. Thank you for understanding the words.
Thank you, Reverend William. About 25 years ago, possibly more, I'm not really sure, a worldwide tradition was started. People get together at the exact same time on December 31st, all around the world. The time is noon Greenwich Mean Time, which here is 6 a.m. We would like to invite you to join us in this tradition here at, I don't know the address, 4025 Wilmington Avenue, St. Louis, at 6 a.m. That's Friday, December 31st. Come lend your energies to meditating for world peace. Be part of something larger by meditating with people all over the planet at the same time. Share your light with the world. Remember, we're all in this together. Really. And now let's welcome back Karen McFerrin.
All right. My turn for some pieces of paper. All right. Rebecca. Okay, my guides are showing me the Superman shield, but instead of the S, it's got an R for Super Rebecca. And basically, we all have a little bit of a superhero in us. You know, when you see something that needs to be done, you get it done. You do it. And a lot of the times somebody will say, wow, I can't believe you could get that done. And you're like, oh, that, frequently, especially us women, we're like, oh, no, it was nothing. It was nothing. We downplay it. No, you did it. You were a superhero. Take the credit. Wear the big symbol on your chest. Take credit for what you've done because you're the one that did it. All right. Joyce. They're showing me the old board game Trouble. I don't know if kids still play Trouble or not, but it had the little dome in the center that you pushed and it rattled and rolled the dice. And what they're saying is that when you leave things to chance, when you just go with the roll of the dice, you're more likely to get into trouble. They're saying even when you need to be spontaneous, even when, spontaneous but plan it a little bit, don't just throw yourself to the winds of fate. Do a little bit of planning and that will make things so much easier and you won't have to yell trouble. All right. Eileen. My guys are just going all sorts of old school these days. Did you ever do that little thing in school where you folded up the paper and you made the little choices, and sometimes it was like, who were you going to marry? What car were you going to have? How many kids? And I was always the silly kid that was like, no, it's a bird. Squawk, 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 squawk. Because even though it was, supposed to look like a fortune telling or a predicting the future, it was set. If you did it, an even number, you were going to get this and not. You have an idea of what you want. Go with it. Don't rely on somebody else telling you, what you're going to do, what you're going to be, what kind of car you're going to have. Seize your future. Make it yours. I have to go home and do one of those. All right. Nick. Oh, that's what that is. Okay. And apparently they know that you play Minecraft. I've heard that from somebody. But what I'm being shown is the Minecraft pick. And, a pickaxe is, a symbol of digging for something, of going for something, of working to get that golden reward. And my guys just want to remind you that sometimes you gotta, take that pickaxe and just mine it until you find it. All right. Let's see what game we're going to pull this time. Kelly. Oh, no, we're going to go to ancient Egypt. Okay, so I am being shown the goddess Ma'at. Now, that would be basically the Egyptians, almost above all else, they worshipped balance, order. The Egyptians as a culture almost had a cultural fear of chaos. And so Ma'at is that goddess that just embodied balance. She had the single feather on her head. That's the feather against which the heart was weighed after you died. And my guides are saying that that image of Ma'at and balance and the scale with the feather are going to be something really good to kind of focus on if you've got something that's got you off balance. Kind of invoke that Ma'at energy and bring it in, center it, and focus on that feather. All right. Ava. What they're showing me is really old school is medieval Astrolabe. And that was, basically a lot of concentric circles and hoops that were connected, but you could use that to plot how the earth and the planets and the sun was moving. And they're basically showing you walking up to it and going, no, I don't like those positions. And just kind of flinging at it so that it goes, blah, blah, blah. And when it stops, you go, oh yeah, much better auspicious. A lot of people who, look at like astrology and say, well, that's just hokey. How could you, the stars aren't going to tell me how to do. Well, there's something to that. When you look at your horoscope and you see, well, I'm a little weak in this area, I'm a little weak in this house. Well, that's not you're not just go, oh, well, I'm bad in business, so I'm never going to do business again or never going to get into this. My guides are saying, look at the weaknesses in your horoscope and don't look at them as barriers. Look at them as, hey, that's what I need to work on. Like if maybe your Saturn energy is low, there are mantras that actually can boost up Saturn energy. There are ways to work on and fill in those gaps or holes in your horoscope. Shauna. Okay, you have this really big pie in front of you. It's a big pie. And you're sitting there and you've got this little bitty server. And you're just like, pie does not match server. So you're like, okay. And you just start using, just start carving out pieces that server can handle. And sometimes when we get that overwhelming task, that overwhelming, problem you have to solve, if you have a small tool, make it into small pieces. You don't have to try to lift the whole pie with a little bitty pie server. You're allowed to get a little bitty serving because, a little bitty serving of this pie is probably going to be more than, a normal person wants to eat anyway. So just remember, even if you've got the big thing, you got to break it down. That's the only way to keep your sanity. Dan. Oh, that's what that is. Okay. So what they're showing me is on like naval vessels when they need to signal from ship to ship, especially if it's evening or night. You know, they have the lights that, you know, they flash little louvers and semaphore. Or is that for? Yeah, semaphore. And my guides are saying you've got some messages coming in, but you've got to pay attention because, you know, you have to not only see the message, but you have to translate the message. So they're just encouraging you to really kind of take some quiet time and focus and let those messages from spirit come in, because, you know, boats don't signal to each other unless it's this way, unless it's important, you know, like, hey, there's a lighthouse over there. Yeah. So your guides just really want you to let them talk to you. So take some quiet time. All right. Mary. Halloween message coming through. Okay, so basically they're showing me that classic scene of the three witches and they're standing around the big giant cauldron. Except when you look at them, you realize, well, those aren't classic witches. Those are just women. And unfortunately, so many of the stereotypes that we have about witches do come from misinterpretations, from misrepresentations. And so a lot of times when people think about magic and women's mysteries, they go, oh, that's a witchcraft stuff. Well, you know what? No, some of it's just women's stuff. So don't be afraid to look into maybe something that you've avoided because it has a bad stereotype. You know, do a little deeper research. See where those images are really coming from before you dismiss something. All right. Brooke. All right, Brooke, they're actually showing you in a flower garden, and you are literally surrounded by tulips. There's, you know, every color possible, and some colors I'm pretty sure aren't possible in tulips. You know, there's the variegated ones, and ones that have stripes on them. And what my guides are wanting me to point out is tulips, the way you get some of those different variations of tulips is they actually are sick. They've actually gotten a virus. They've got, or a bacteria is in them, and that's why they look different. But they're still beautiful. They still grow. And my guides just want me to remind you that no matter what occurs, you're still beautiful. You're still growing. All right. Cassandra. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. So my guides are showing you, and you're kind of kneeling down, and you had a little hammer in your hand. I'm like, what? And you're uncovering a fossil. And as more and more of it shows up, it's actually one of the fossils that, well, is it a dinosaur? Is it a bird? It's got feathers, but it's got, you know. And so many times we want to put things in categories. It's like, this is a dinosaur. This is a bird. This is, you know, the right way to do it. This is the wrong way to do it. And they're like, yeah, life isn't black or white. Life is all sorts of grayscale. And they just want you to be open to the possibilities of that space in between this thing and this thing, that there's all sorts of missing links and connections that, you know, connect the dinosaurs to the birds. All right, who we got next? Melanie. Okay, so they're showing me, I think this was from Sesame Street, where they would show you 4 things, and, you know, like a truck, a car, a duck, and a boat. I was like, that's on your one of these things is not like the other. Okay, so what they're saying is that encouraged you to pick out the thing that didn't fit. But my guys want you to figure out how you can make it fit. So, well, maybe that car is an amphibious car. And so an amphibious car and a duck in a boat, well, they all float. So my guides, if you've got something that you're having problems with, you got something that doesn't fit, my guides are saying just turn it upside down, turn it around, look, you know, run around and look at it through the other side. You know, the view through the silver side of the mirror is different than the view from the front. They just really want you to turn things upside down if you've got a problem. They're really encouraging that. All right. Nancy. Okay, so the first image they showed me was kind of that classic, kind of cartoonish image of Bigfoot, just strolling along, doing his own thing. But then they switched to an image of Nessie. I'm like, okay, we got 2 cryptids here, but they're very classic cryptids. Everybody recognizes what a Bigfoot looks like. Everybody knows what the Loch Ness Monster looks like. But we've never seen them. That's like everybody knows what a unicorn looks like. But we don't, you know, have them running around in our zoos right now. You have more knowledge, especially about hidden cryptic things, than you realize. You just have to kind of open yourself up and go, hey, I do know that. Hey, I know that. And just recognize your own knowledge, your own hidden depths. What do we got here? Lois. Okay, they're showing me Horus, who is the sun god in Egypt. And basically, they're showing him in his full, you know, his falcon form, his full, you know, outstretched, you know, flying up toward the sun. And basically, they're saying, you know, that's you. You're the sunshine. You're the sun energy, and you got to quit hiding it. Let it out. You take on that full falcon form. All right, I think we got 1 left. Mary Jane. Okay. I don't know which mantra you got, but I am being shown Ganesha. And Ganesha is the Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. And they are really encouraging that the next time you've got a problem a stumbling block, something in your way, use that Ganesha mantra, and that will really help you break down that barrier that has gotten in your way. I know I recently used it, and I started a new job on November 1st. So that Ganesha mantra really works for getting rid of obstacles that seem a little bit too big for yourself. All right, thank you for allowing me to stand between the worlds.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not cold enough.
And now I want to bring up DC back up, and what she's going to do, I have no idea because I don't understand it. I'm going to let her explain it to you.
Yes, you did. Go get your props.
Go get your props, yeah. Okay.
All right, before we do the flower messages, which we'll do in a second, I have, woo. All right, Dan, Papa. Okay, so, Nama Davis here. Ooh. Anyway, Srimam Klim Ganeshwaraya Brahmarupaya Jadave Sava Siddhi Brahmapaya Vidni. I said it all wrong. I know. I hear you. Anyway, so that's one of the mantras he wants you to do. That's 1. 2, he says he knows what's going on. He wants you to push your discipline harder. He wants you to start doing your mantras stronger, and he wants you to be real serious about it. He also said next year, at least a year, maybe a year and a half, he's pushing for you to not necessarily get down to a backpack, but to get down to that. I'm not sure how, but he wants you to push that because it's the only way you'll be able to travel, is what he's saying. Okay, the other one is, okay, for those who don't know, Dan Vance is my spiritual father. That's what I call him because in a past life, he was actually my father, and his wife, who is now in spirit, it was actually my mother. And it's kind of cool finding your past life family. So, Papa, here again, Mama is here. She says just because the couch isn't there doesn't mean she's not there, and she wants you to know this. And then there's an older woman who wants to. She's demanding to be heard too. She's smoking a cigarette and she's drinking out of what looks like a highball glass, and she's saying, "Get it together. Just go get it together. Take care of yourself. Do what you need to do because you can't move forward without it." And I'm not going to say the rest, but we'll talk later. Okay, now let's get to this. So I have the flowers, cards here because it's kind of hard to give somebody a flower
This time of year?
This time of year, and wet, it dripping everywhere, and then it just dies while you're sitting there. So it's kind of bad. So we decided to go ahead and do these cards, and then I'm going to put them in the basket like that. And then I'm going to take a card from here. I'm going to do this. And I go, oh, pink rose. Okay. Grace and sweetness. Okay. So Mary Jane. The pink rose. Okay. Yes. It represents grace and sweetness, but it also wants you to take that. There's a special grace, okay, with being sweet. Who's Mary Jane? Okay, so there's a special grace with being sweet. So instead of, you can be firm, but you can be really sweet about it. And that takes a lot. However, you'll get much further with it. And they're asking you maybe to sugar things up, even though that's outside of your personality right there, is sweeten it up all the time. But they're saying honey sweet tea is so much better. So there's some things in your life that some sweet tea would work. Much better. Okay, now we got the white rose. Interesting enough. Okay, this is really great. This is Lois. Sweetie, this is new beginnings. This is new start of wisdom. So your brain's changing. You're thinking in different manners. And this is supposed to go with you. So it's a rhodochrosite. You are not. And they're very, very insistent on this. You are not, Lois. You are not allowed to give it away. It is to be yours. You are not allowed to give it away. This is for you. Okay. And this is Nancy Elson. Nancy Elson, that's a in person, right? Yeah, there you go. Okay, so they got you with a tulip. It's friendship and gratitude. Take light of the friendships that you have, and they're not take light like lightly. Take like look at your friendships and be super grateful for the ones that you've got going on. They're also wanting you to have a sunstone because apparently your solar plex needs a little bit of power. It's coming to you. Okay, and this is daffodils, and this is for Joyce H. Daffodils is the new beginnings. It's new. It's the first thing that comes out in the spring. It's also gallantry. It's also cavalry. So, and what they're saying is there's a project that's going on. This is a bit overwhelming. No, the cavalry is coming. You have to let people know you are having problems in order for the cavalry to come. However, the cavalry will come. And they're insisting the cavalry's coming. The cavalry's coming. Let people know you need help. Plain and simple. Huh?
Asking for help is hard.
I know. Asking for help is hard. Okay, this one is Cassandra T, and it's false indigo. False indigo is immersion and intuition. Okay, so immersion is the color, and the indigo is that third eye color, and they want you to understand your third eye. They want you to go within and go, hey, look, that feeling that you're having, that tingling you're having, that maybe this isn't right, maybe, hey, listen to it. It's important for you to listen to this body here, okay? And it tells you more about what's going right and wrong in your life than anything else. So they want you to go within and look inside and work on that third eye. Shauna. Okay. Oh, apple blossoms. You got some choices coming up. Shauna, sorry. I'm sorry. Closer. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, you got some choices coming up, but you already know the answers to them. You're thinking you have choices. No, you already know what you want. You already know, and it looks like, oh, it's this or this. Here's an easy way to figure out a choice when you're thinking maybe you made the wrong choice because maybe over here is a little bit greener than over there, and maybe this is greener, and I don't know which one's greener. And take a coin. One side is one, the other side is the other. Flip it. If you're disappointed with the answer, you know which side. If you're happy with the answer, you know what side. The decision's already been made. It's just you're kind of like that with it. Okay. This is Sweet Williams. This is the one masculine card as far as flowers is concerned, it's just not very there's not a lot of masculine flowers. They're mostly feminine. They're mostly however, Sweet William is very gallant and it almost says it says give me a smile. Dan, Papa, give me a smile. They're saying you've got a lot of stuff to smile for. Stop looking at what is not there and start looking at what is there. And if you start looking a little bit more of what is there, you're going to be very happy. Okay. Nick, first time I got you ever. Snapdragon. Now, the reason Snapdragon gets its name, and you like this, is because when you grab a Snapdragon, it opens his mouth and it looks like a dragon. But the strangulation of this flower it makes it look cool. So graciousness. So graciousness and benevolence. So, basically be gracious with some of the things that you're not so gracious for. And we are gracious for you for what you're doing. And very gracious. God bless you. But yeah, and they're thankful too for the coolness that you've been going on, and they've also got they want you to know that things are the way they are right now, but your future self is going to be so much amazed. Like if you could see your future self right now, you'd be like, and that's how cool and big your future is. Yeah. That didn't happen. This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful house. Rebecca. Yes. Iris. Oh, that's wonderful. Rainbow and messages. Iris is the goddess or the daughter, the granddaughter of Zeus. So that she's only like steps away from the ultimate god in Greek mythology. And Iris comes in and it says, look for the rainbows. And that's what Iris is. She is actually the goddess of rainbows. And they want you to understand that feminine power that's within you too. So look for those rainbows and not just in the sky, but look for rainbows. There's messages in there that of different, the Fae folk want to come in there too. So there's a lot of, yes, got it. So they want you to hone in on your gifts, and the rainbow, that sparkle rainbow prism energy will help you hold it and concentrate in order to hear spirit, who is really loud. So that ringing in your ears, tell them to shh. It's okay. Bring that down. I'm trying to listen, but bring that noise down, because that they're trying to tell you, but sometimes they don't. So, got it. There you go. And that goes to her. Oops, yeah, that goes to you. You're right. Sorry, I'm wrong. And that is a black jade. That is for the protection you're going to need for while you're playing with your rainbows. Brooke, you're a hyacinth. You got the hyacinth. It's playfulness. More playfulness is going to be coming, and a lot more playfulness is coming. Will you please give that to yourself? And this one is Gerber Daisy. Purity, cheerfulness, and innocence. So, Mary Dugan. So what Gerber Daisy is coming in and saying, you know, chill out, bring in some joy, go play, have fun, put a smile on your face. The things aren't as serious as you think they should be. Sometimes we're so caught up in how it looks or how we think it should look that we forget we're on this journey, man. And this is just part of it. It is not, who cares what it looks like? Who cares what other people think about those sorts of things? You're not harming anybody. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just a little different. It's all good. And we got Holly. Okay. Ooh, honeysuckle. Honeysuckle branches everywhere. Honeysuckle can get through everything. Honeysuckle is that love that can endure. It can, okay, and the words are domestic happiness. But yeah, it's that love that doesn't get divorced, even though they've, you know, lost a house, lost the kids, lost a everything went to blah, blah, blah. They're still married. They're still strong, and they're still getting through. And that is the kind of love that you actually have. And that's really great. Gladiola. Melanie. Gladiola is strong. Melanie, right? Yeah, there. Melanie. Okay. Gladiola is strong, and like Brooke and I were talking earlier, it needs that foundation though. We need to make sure that foundation is nice and strong. You're getting ready to shoot straight up in your power. Make sure this is nice and strong so you don't fall over because you got too big. Yes. You're very welcome. Ava. I kind of had a feeling that, okay, intelligence and mental beauty. Okay, so Queen Victoria was known for her mental beauty. Mental beauty means you can see the way things are right now, but you also see how they need to be over here. And even though this works perfectly, we know later on it's not. So later on, it needs to be like this. And you know how to beautifully move things around so that when the change comes, it doesn't seem like change at all. It just seems like that's how it's always been, because you can beautifully maneuver things around. And that's a very nice gift. Crocus. What do we say that was? Eileen. I'm sorry. Okay, crocus is that happy joy, beginning of spring. Thank goodness the cold is going away. The snow is still there. You see the beautiful crocuses. You do see snow on this, on that's when they got the best pictures, is with the snow around them. So just because this yay, spring is here, this new beginning, this cheerfulness, be careful, it can still get chilly. So make sure that you're not like nilly-dally dancing in the street. No, dance on the sidewalk. No more. Thank you for letting me sit between the worlds. Thank you. Everyone got one, right?
Now, thank you, everyone, for participating in Communications from Spirit. And now we will bestow some gifts upon you. It's raffle time. Who pulls?
Yeah.
Get out your tickets.
Okay, so how this is going to work is that there's a table back there, and in the center there are stones that you can have one of those stones and then a choice of any of the things that are surrounding that section of stones. Okay. And they range. That's right. And they range from, gift certificates for some of the things that we do, or necklaces, just whatever you choose. So who gets to go first? It ends in 382. Okay.
Hand her your ticket to prove it. William was asking if I needed to sit down. No, I got this thing to lean on.
There you go.
Rainbows.
Okay, the next person, while she's working on her choice, the next person has got a ticket that ends in 386. Hey.
Yay. Sold to the lady in the Irish heart shoes. You can sing a rainbow.
Okay.
At least according to Dr. Hook. Sing me a rainbow if you can. I like Dr. Hook. The songs fall into one of two categories. Either it's a terrible story, but you're only getting a part of it. You want to know the rest. Or it's just fun.
You know what they have to do, Cheyenne.
Sing Me a Rainbow is one of the former. So what happens to the computer when you shove those cards in?
Okay, the next ticket ends in 389.
Another bill just came in. How wonderful.
Just what you wanted.
Oh, I wanted the hockey stick.
Yeah.
7-3.
Oof.
They're playing the Kings.
Nice. Next one is ticket 388.
What's a final? St. Louis beat the Kings 7-3.
God,
Go Blues.
man.
4-0 already.
Was that the home opener?
Yeah, maybe it was.
We still on?
Yeah, we're still there.
Yeah.
What type of stones are
Free to guess.
there?
Pre-night. Pre-night, yes.
Spelled with a PH.
No, PR.
Per night.
Free night.
Oh, of course. Yeah, because of the color.
bringing love, bringing more love, energy. But you know, this free night is you can ask it for ask it for help to help with your energy, because each vibration that you're around changes your vibration. So when you ask free night, hey, I'm gonna get ready to do this. This is gonna hurt my heart. Can you hand your free night's like send that vibration?
They're choosing.
Yeah.
Takes a moment to choose. Well, I mean, if you want, that's up to you. You want to know we should stop the broadcast? Okay, next ticket, 387.
That's you. Go get your goodies.
Okay, our next ticket ends in 381.
381, that's Lois.
That's Lois. Huh? If you want to.